Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Liz, and welcome back to Feed the Beast Infinity Evolved Expert Mode Skyblock. In the last episode, we were working on that monstrosity, aka the Awakened Draconium Automation system. Oh my gosh, I have been sitting here for like the past, been about 2 hours, trying to get this thing to work, and I think I have it done. We'll get to that in a second. And I've also been trying to figure out what all we need to do, what I want to do today, and whatnot. One thing that I noticed is we need to upgrade this furnace and pulverizer. They are a little slow currently, and not keeping up with the rest of the system here. Since we increased how fast this guy goes. In fact, let's just do that, and it should be fine. We have plenty of power, like we're not losing power or anything. In fact, are both of these even working? No, only one's working. So we have plenty of power. We're gonna actually be increasing power a little bit today. You'll see why soon enough, but we'll get to that later. Now, last episode I did say that we might go ahead and make some vibrant capacitors, capacitor banks, so that we can charge this guy up quicker. We might still do that, but we're not going to worry about that today. I haven't set up the thermionic fabricator here or anything like that, so that's just something to keep in mind. And we'll get to it another time. But let's kind of go through the list of things that we need to do. Draconic Evolution, the Awakened Draconium Automation, we need to finish up. We're going to do that probably here soon. We need to work on getting the bees that we need, which are the phantasmal bees. These are the bees that have the resurrection ability, and if we go to the end, I think the dragon egg will need to be there. So we're going to resurrect the dragon once with Draconic Evolution, and then we should be able to use those bees to constantly resurrect the dragon as much as we want, and then we kill the dragon as much as we want, and then we get a bunch of dragon hearts and a bunch of draconium, both of which are really important. So that's kind of the idea with that. So we'll get to that a little bit today. We're going to do a little bit of work with bees. Today is going to be a little bit of a grab bag episode as well. And then I was looking, I made a list after last episode, and full disclosure, I've been kind of delayed in recording this from when I wanted to, just because of other things, streams and recordings of other series, and just kind of all sorts of things, real life. So I had made a list after last episode of kind of trying to get my head together on what all we need to get done on this series, so that we can start getting into the creative items. And a lot of what we need to do is boosting production of resources, so this kind of stuff. And one of the big things is if we want to make these solar panels, which we'll want to do that for one of the achievements, because we are going to need to get the ultimate solar panel. That's going to require a ton, and I mean an absolute ton, of glass. So that's something I think we're going to work on today as well. We're going to make a couple culinary generators to help with getting more resources, as well as we're going to set up a independent system to make sand and glass. And we're going to use that to mass store glass for the system. It's going to be great. So with that taken care of, let's start with Awakened Draconium. So last episode we set up this whole system of, except for the redstone, ignore the redstone for right now. So we set up this system of block placers and autonomous activators, each with a cobalt pickaxe, which has a high enough mining level to mine Awakened Draconium. And we have this cool system of transfer nodes feeding into mini chests, which are feeding into an open crate, and then an autonomous activator attached to a creeper trophy. I actually broke the other creeper. This is a second creeper trophy. I actually broke the first because I set this to left click for a little bit just so it wouldn't explode while I was testing some things. And yeah, we lost one. Oh well. So what is going on here? Well, this chest in particular has a filter for dragon hearts. So Dragon Hearts will get stored in this chest from our AE system. The Draconic Cores will get stored in here from our AE system, and then in here will go the Charged Draconium. So that's kind of step one. Now, all of these chests, so this chest is always activated, and I had to add a downgrade, a speed downgrade in here, so that it will only place one Charged Draconium at a time, and it will evenly distribute them through these 4 block placers. When these 4 block placers receive a signal, they will place the Charged Draconium. And then, since the Dragon Hearts and the the Dragon Hearts only stack to 1, I believe. So only 1 will store in here, and this transfer node will only keep 1 Dragon Heart in here at a time, which is exactly what we want. Now, all these item conduits are set to, these 2 item conduits are set to active with signal, and we'll get to that in a second. So this side, we have a Rationing Pipe. This will store exactly 16 Draconic Cores, because these just happen to stack to 16. Nice and convenient. So this will store 16 Draconic Cores. And the idea is you can place the Charged Draconium basically whenever you want. But you want to drop a Dragon Heart, explode it with a Creeper Trophy. No damage to blocks, but it will destroy items, so we need to be careful of that. And so we want to drop the Dragon Heart first, blow it up, and then drop the Draconic Cores. And that will take some time. It will charge, do things, and then we'll want at some point, by the time that is dropping, around the time it's dropping the Draconic Cores, we want to place the Charged Draconium, and we want to stop breaking blocks, and then we want to do the reverse. Once the Charged Draconium is changed into Awakened Draconium, we want to start breaking the blocks. So, got all that? I hope so. Basically, we have to do a lot of things in a certain order, and then everything's happy. Things we can group together. Actually, everything but the Dragon Heart and the Explosion we can group completely together. And let me explain why. So we have these set to redstone low. So these will turn off when they receive a redstone signal. These will place a block when they receive a redstone signal. Oh, and then finally, this is a vacuum chest to pick up the Awakened Draconium. But we have to set the filter. We'll do that later. Once we get some Awakened Draconium. And then that will feed back into the interface and send it to the system. Got all that. Okay. So we have it set up so that these guys will always be breaking blocks that are in front of them until they get a redstone signal. And these guys will place blocks when they receive a redstone signal. So we can group this all together. We can also group this chest, the Draconic Cores, and the transfer nodes. Similar idea. Transfer nodes do not transfer items when they have a redstone signal. So both the transfer nodes are actually on the same color of signal, red. And this chest is on red as well because we wanted to extract it, and we want to constantly extract it because this will not fill back up until this stops receiving a signal. Same with this one. Once this receives a signal, it will not fill this chest. So that is very important. So that is all one grouping, and that is on red, which is why there's like 3 signals being sent out here. And it's actually a pretty creative way, I think, and it seems to work. We're going to test it out here in a second, but it seems to work, and it seems to be fairly simple. It's literally just some repeaters set to different ticks, a toggle latch, and a couple timers, and a NOT gate. We'll get to all that in a second. So that is all on the red signal. On the brown signal is this guy. This guy is the only one set to the brown signal, and that's because we want to send this out first once we set off one iteration of making Awakened Draconium. And that's kind of the thing to think about it. This timer is sending out iterations. So each craft because we can only do 4 awakened blocks at a time. So this is on brown, so the dragon heart is on brown, and then the explosion is on green. That was not intentional, it was just the next color, FYI. So this just needs to receive a signal, and it will right click this guy, cause an explosion. And that's it. We don't want this to maintain a signal because we don't want to destroy the Draconic cores. We just want to activate this sometime after the Dragon Heart, but before the Draconic cores. Got it? Great. So what we have, and I have to get the timings for this stuff down a little bit. I mean, we can put this to like however long we want. I have it at 10 seconds for right now, and that's something once we want to automate this completely, we can set up however we want. So it might be something, it might be wise for us to not actually have this running, but then if we want to do a big craft of Awakened Draconium, come over here, hit the switch, and then run away and let it do its thing, rather than leaving this system on, this redstone on all the time. Mostly just so that we don't have the issue of this activates while not everything is in place so once we're starting a new craft. So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so we could do a comparator to activate that, but that's not worth it to me. So how does this work? Well, we have a timer set to the delay, and this is for each iteration. This sends out a signal to 3 different repeaters. So we have a repeater for, let's start, the first thing that needs to go off is brown. So this repeater is set to 16 ticks. We have to set it that high just so that we can get the item extracted. And it seemed to be pretty consistent to only extract 1, because that is a little bit of a concern, because if there's other things in here, they could travel here because we don't have red activated. But 16 ticks actually seems to be fine. And it's only going to activate for a little bit of time. And then at 32 ticks, the green signal gets activated, which is the explosion. And then we have at 64 ticks, which you can see this at the top at Wayla, but this repeater is at 64 ticks. And once that is done, it activates this toggle latch. Side note about the toggle latch, 1, it's really weird to place these, and 2, they don't seem to like the conduits or really other, like, they don't like the conduits, so that's why we have some actual redstone over here. So what the toggle latch does, and we can toggle it whenever we want, but this is set to red, and it will toggle whenever we want. So the idea here is this will turn on, that will place all these 4 blocks and turn the autonomous activators off. It will also then start draining this chest and turn off both transfer nodes. And now the problem with this is the toggle latch is fine, but it needs to turn off after a little bit. And in order to do that, we have another red signal coming to this NOT gate, to another timer set to, I have it at 10 seconds. I don't know if that's the best or not, but it'll work. And that will send another signal after 10 seconds to turn this off. So we can turn this on for a second, and you guys can see kind of what the timings are. So first thing is brown, and it will go pretty quickly, but there's brown, there's green, and then red is currently on. You can see the autonomous activators are stopped, and then this will, I actually want to turn that off. This will kind of do its timer thing, and then turn off the latch, and then break the blocks. So, assuming that everything is good, we should be able to, and I'm going to be honest, we might lose Draconic cores. That's not that big of a deal. It's diamonds, gold, and draconium, but it's kind of annoying. But what we can do is we can go ahead and throw all of this stuff in here, and everything should be going, so we should have 1 in each of these. We should have Draconic cores, Dragon hearts. Now, theoretically, we can turn this on, and it's going to make Draconium. Let's see if it happens. If I get this, I've tested this a lot, but I haven't like tried it. So if this works, it's going to be wonderful. So Dragon heart, explosion, and No, no, no. Well, that's a bummer. Okay, so this needs to be longer. 20 seconds. But there's Awakened Draconium. And if we just grab one... we can set this filter. And now it will put it into the system. And we should be able to go find that. So it actually worked. I know it didn't look like it completely, but there's Awakened Draconium. So the biggest, it all worked perfectly except for this timer. So this timer needs to be longer. 20 seconds is probably fine. So the only other thing to test, and we'll do this once we have the bees and kill more dragons, is to see if multiple hearts can go through there. That's the only real question. So let's get this guy set up. 2, 3, 4. And then we can actually just go ahead and put this in the automation, and that'll be fine. So I need to remember that we have to turn this on in order to make Awakened Draconium, but we have our first bit of Awakened Draconium. That is awesome. So with that taken care of, let's talk about bees. So we need to get these phantasmal bees, and one of the big things that they're going to require is different bee types that we don't have access to. At least I don't believe we have access to. Do we have any modest? We do have a modest princess. Monostatic? No. Okay, so we have a modest princess. We don't have that many bees of the types we need. So let's get... so we're going to need some modest hives. So we're going to want like 4 scented artificial hives. And we're going to want some artificial hives of other types. So we're going to need wheat. Need a bunch of wheat. Which is something we have plenty of. Alright, so that's not a concern. Never mind. So we're going to put a bunch of wheat in here. And there's the 4 scented artificial hives. So we'll want, let's get 10 normal artificial hives. And we started talking a little bit about this last time, I do believe. But basically what we're going to want to do is we need to make these mana-infused hives. Now there's not a recipe for them, but the way we make them is kind of simple. It's just witch water. So the modest hives, we're going to need sand. We're going to need half a stack of sand. Yeah, I think making a sand glass machine would probably be the best thing for us right now. So we put those in there, those will cook. Now we need to grab a bucket and some witch water. And we're going to make the rest of these guys. So we need to have a thaumium barrel. Not a big deal there. So we've made some of these hives before, but I don't know what happened to it. Like, I don't remember, to be honest. It's been a while, but I don't remember what all we were doing. We should be able to do this. And we'll make a bunch of these mana-infused hives. Now, we're going to want a lot of different bees over the course of the next while. What are we putting in there with witch water? Instone. No. Soul sand. Anyways, that is all of the mana-infused hives. So a lot of this stuff I'm gonna do off camera, to be honest, because there's no reason for us to do it on camera. We don't need the bucket either. Whoops. Alright, so modest hives. Modest bees. Actually, I know what's going on. I always forget about this. We have a windy princess in there. I don't know if this is still working or not, but we can get pristine bees just by doing that kind of stuff. I've also been starting to, you know, if one is in there, what happens? I guess we'll find out here in a second. Should be just transferred on. That'd be kind of cool. So let's get another scoop. Combs can go in there. I'm currently running I don't have Imperial automation upgrades. I want to run a we're just gonna run one of these guys through here. Okay, so it just went through. Cool. So let's take a look at the Phantasmal. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what is going on with all of this stuff. Okay, so the Phantasmal Bees. We need Ender Drones. We'll get to Ender Drones here in a second. Those are magical bees, and they're kind of difficult to get. We need to get Oblivion Hives. Spectral bees come from Ender Drones and Hermitic. Hermitic are monostatic and secluded. Secluded are monostatic and austere. Monostatic is another type that we need to get. I do believe those come from Curious Hives. We're going to see, but I think that's where they come from. Austere are the final tier of the Modest Princesses. So that's what we need, all we need. So what we need to do, let's get a couple Curious Hives. Now these are going to require magic tallow. That's a bit of a pain to get, but it's not that bad. We already have 4, so let's see if this is in fact what we need. And then we can always get more tallow if we need it. If this is correct. We have mystical, so that is not correct. How do we get the monostatics? I don't remember. It could be an advanced hive. It's not deep hives. It's not infernal hives. At least I don't think it's deep hives. You know what? We could make one of these. That's not that bad. We have all the stuff for it. We just need 2, 4, 6, 8 stone, and we need 8 end stone. So 40 end stone, and let's just get some stone. And this will be straightforward enough. Six, 7, 8. Smack it with the wand. And we have the magic, we have the Bestia. I've been cooking up a bunch of string just for that. So this will take just a second. It shouldn't be a problem. Let's go. I don't think we can sleep. Let's see if we can. Nope. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know how to get the monostatic drones. That might be something I'll have to look into, but the other ones are not that difficult. Unusual. I don't believe it's any of the other hives, so I don't know. I'll figure it out, and hopefully it will be good. So, we're gonna want a bit of the end stone. We'll do 2 recipes with the end stone, depending on how much magic. Okay, we have plenty of Bestia. We have a good bit of magic. Okay, so we'll just do this, and we'll see what bees we get. Now, the other thing that I want to work on is the... Actually, while this is kind of doing its thing, I want to get the high-tier culinary generators. So we're gonna need, I want two more of them, two more of the 64s. So that is 16 of the 8. So we need 16 transfer nodes, which is not too bad. It's just gonna be a little bit annoying. Alright. So I have no idea if this is worth it or not. But we'll find out. So we're going to need transfer nodes. We're going to need a stack of transfer nodes. And actually, we only need 10, so we need 40. We'll get make like 10 more chests. Because I think we need a few more than that. But we'll get gold times the same amount. And then we need the upgrade thingy. These. So how many of these do we need? We need 12. Didn't I tell it? Yes, I did. And one more. Cool. We'll see if this is enough. So, believe the gold goes on the edges. And that's making that. Cool. So we'll check back in on that in just a moment. We're gonna need 8 of those. This is making 12 plus 6. Yeah, we're gonna need a few more. Let's do 6 more. Gold times 36. And the transfer nodes, we're gonna need the pipes. So stone slabs times 12, that'll be enough. And then glass, again, we will have plenty of glass here soon. At least that's the hope. So obviously there's a couple things we're gonna have to do in order to make all the things we want. Alright, so there's that. We'll get back to that in just a second. Let's go get our hive and make another one. Let's make sure we have enough stuff before we do. Bestial, magic, yeah, we're fine. And alienness, that's really easy. So we'll get some more bees. Now whether or not these bees will be good, I don't know. We'll see what we can do with them. But it's really just trying to get more bees, getting more species, and then we'll do some fun stuff with them later. Alright, so we need transfer nodes with ender pearls because it's better. So if we have 4, we want 5 more chests. Not that that's a problem either. No, we need more than that. 3 more recipes worth. Okay, so this should be everything we need. We're missing stone now. Great. Craft 30 stone. So that's not even the right number. I think it's 24. So there'll be extra gold, whatever. So let's go ahead and sleep. Get rid of this night, this rainy night, and we'll work with the bees more. I will figure out what the monostatic drones come from. They might be a rare species that comes from the... might be a rare species that comes from the modest hives. I don't remember. I know where they come from. Alright, they come from villagers. So we'll spawn in some villagers, and we'll get to that in just a second. So what's in the deep hive? I don't actually know. And then the end hive. So these are attuned. Okay. So that is Oblivion. No, that's not what we wanted. Oblivion princesses, didn't we already make those? So I'm going to have to figure out where the Ender princesses come from as well. But that's okay. Let's just throw these guys in here. We'll throw that in there and this stuff in there. Yeah, I did this last episode, didn't I? Because I had some forgotten combs. And I didn't know where they came from. So I'm not entirely sure how to get the Ender princesses. So that's something we'll figure out. Anyways, the monostatic drones are villagers. So, what we can do is the villager. I'm gonna go grab a safari net and we'll deal with this. So, or soul vial. That'll work too. So basically what we want to do is just grab the beekeeper. I guess we can imprison this guy, but I don't know if he's going to have good trades or not. So what did he want? 4 drones in Propolis. Okay, we'll do that. Let's bring him over here with the bees. And I have a bunch of Propolis, and drones are not a problem. Here, we have a bunch of cultivated drones. So, there's a modest drone. I don't know if its stats are good or anything like that. But we should have, here in a second, another trade. I mean, you're just glowing. Here, I'll give you another set. And, okay, now we have another trade. So, proven frame for 6 emeralds. We can do that. That's fine. And... like, a lot of the stuff we don't really care too much about, but, it's convenient enough. So just throw those in there. And I guess we'll do it again. Come on, give me more trades. If you don't give me more trades, I'm going to send you back to the blood altar, where you will get blood altered and sacrificed to the blood gods. Okay. So a bunch of oak wood for an apiary. You know what? It's not really worth it. Unless they have a trade early. I'm going to make sure that that's how you get the monostatic drones, but... Come on. Can I not put him back there? There you go. So we'll just kind of figure out things. I'll figure out the bees, figure out which ones we need, not all that kind of stuff. I can work on the one bees, the modest bees, so that's something we can do. Alright, so how is this coming? We have, let's see, 16 transfer nodes. So now we should be able to make a bunch of those. And then all we need now is some bedrockium. Now that's something I actually wanted to go ahead and teach the system how to make. And the way to do that is Mox nuclear fuel, which I don't believe we know how to make, and that's just a simple craft. So nothing too complicated about that. And then if we want bedrockium, we just smelt that up. So Mox, I might regret this. So let's go ahead and go turn on, or not turn on, but let's go grab our, yeah, hazmat suit and Mox nuclear fuel. Can't I just melt it up in here? I can. That's kind of funny. And then this will make the bedrockium. And then we just put this recipe into our smeltery. Redstone furnace, glass. We don't need that anymore because we're gonna change that. It's gonna be its own little system. So now I should be able to make another piece of bedrockium, and it's literally just a smelt. So that is good. That's what we want to see. Let's go ahead and put our better armor on. So we have 8 of these. In fact, we have exactly 8. Cool. So we get both bedrockium pieces. Is it just slow? It's probably just slow. Let's see if the bedrockium is in here. No. So where is it? We can make it through the does it not like going in through that thing? Alright, we have 1 bedrockium. Let's cancel that. And this is going to be really bad, but we're going to grab the Mox nuclear fuel. We have radiation. Oh, we can't put it in there. Okay. Oh, that's a pain. So that is the issue. And so what that means is we can't have that in the... We can't have that in there. So we have 2 options at this point. We can set up a furnace of any type. There is the normal furnaces, or we can use... Yeah, we can use any of the furnaces. Any of the vanilla style furnaces, or we can use another alloy smelter. I think it's probably... Ooh, we could use an electric furnace. Let's make sure that works. So Mox... do we have an electric furnace? No. Okay. So that's something we could... Oops. We could try. So let's get an electric furnace. So that's an iron furnace. And some redstone. Really? Why didn't it automatically place the redstone? That's weird. And this might work. We just need to figure out, do these guys have... Or we could just use an iron furnace and supply it with stuff. Decisions. Let's see. There are a lot of things over here. I think this is completely full. And that's a way to get steel. Let's try the iron furnace, the electric furnace. So we'll grab that. We'll grab our mucks. Let's just go ahead and put on the hazmat suit. So I wasn't expecting this to not work. I should look at the recipes. Some of the recipes are really weird, where it's very specific, but not that, mucks. And this is as simple as just popping down here, figuring out where we want to place it. Now, what does this have? This... I think we'd be okay to have another... where is this going? It goes all the way over... Oh, right straight to... So this is 100%... 1, 2, 3 channels. What is this one? It's off by itself. And that is for that stuff. Puts it in there. Then we have filters. So we could actually put... Because that's for the metal former. For all of this stuff. So if we can place this down, that goes in there just fine. We could put this in here, and I guess, what's this filter? Not those. I guess what we could do is put, because this is everything, we could blacklist just the, we could just blacklist this, we could whitelist it on this side, and then have this transfer back into here. That should work just fine. And then all we need is some transformer upgrades, and that'll be, which we already have. Cool, so let's get item ducts and servo. And this should be fine. So this guy is, I believe the electric furnace is tier 1. Yeah, tier 1. Same as this guy. So he's going to need two transformer upgrades. We will have item duct there, item duct there, this one extract, always active, this one whitelist, always active. So if we put this in there, it should go in there. Perfect. And then if we grab some glass fiber cables, we should be able to run power over like so. Please don't explode. And bedrockium. So we can upgrade this guy, which is why we want to make it this way, and we should have 2 bedrockium in our system. So the last thing we need to do is just this, and grab the bedrockium. So let's put stuff away to bedrockium. Perfect. So now we can automate bedrockium. Really nice and simple, really nice and easy. Alright. So with that taken care of, we don't need our hazmat suit anymore. We're going to quickly make a little bit of a glass factory. And what we're going to do is, after putting the scoop away, we're going to get a culinary generator, and this is going to be, we're going to want some item ducts. Can we make like 30 more of those? Get some servos. And we're going to want, let's see, we're going to want two. How do we want to do this? So we need to make sand into glass. And the way we're going to do that is through, we're going to want a redstone furnace. We're going to want pulverizers. No, we don't want pulverizers. We actually want sag mills. No, let's do pulverizers. And then we're going to want some augments. So let's make the culinary generators, and you'll see why we're doing this in a second. So first things first, we're going to set up another one of these guys. These actually connect. Let's remove these. And resonant servo. Always active. And that's fine. Then what we're going to want is we're going to want another servo. Yeah, this will be fine. We'll do it right back here. And this will go straight into this culinary generator. And that is where we're going to get all the power for this side. So that's going to generate a lot of power. Now what we can do is set up this guy, the laser, and we'll get some ores from that. That's why I wanted more power, but that's not super important right now. So we're going to need some machines. So we're going to want, let's see, 3 machine frames, which are on autocraft. Now what else are we going to want? So we need the pulverizers to get sand. We're going to want an Igneous Extruder, which doesn't require, no it does. Alright, so we're going to want one more of these. So that will produce cobblestone. We pulverize it into sand with the pulverizer. Now that will also make some dust. We can get rid of that with Nullification Chamber. And then we're going to want the redstone furnace to make glass. So we're also going to want a servo that's a little bit better than the one we have. And the reason is, let's see, we want something that has internal redstone control. I think a reinforced servo will be good enough. And the reason is we want something that's going to have the ability to round robin. So that's the idea. All right, so Igneous Extruder, we're going to need 2 copper gears, 4 copper gears. Okay, so we're going to need 4 machines. We're going to need copper gears times 8. And yeah, once the machines are done, we're going to need some bricks. So clay. We'll just cook this up into bricks. And then we're going to need 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. And pneumatic servo. Alright, so first things first, this guy. Once we get the bricks, we'll have that. And now there's a little bit of a trick. So if we look at machine frames, the higher tier machine frames are really, really annoying to make. But we can upgrade our machines a lot easier. So basic with just electrum gears, signalum gears, and enderium gears. So we're going to need electrum gears times 4, Enderium gears times 4, and then the Signalum gears as well, which I don't know why I don't have that automated over here. But once we get the first Signalum gear, we will go ahead and teach the system 1, 2, 3, 4. And any day, there's the gear. So we'll just do 3 more of those. Cool. So do we have the bricks? We do. Alright, so there is the redstone furnace. Next we want 2 pulverizers. So we're going to need pistons times 3. Because the Igneous Extruder also requires pistons. 2 and 3. Perfect. Now, if we want to upgrade these, we're going to need Invar. Let's craft like 40 Invar. That'll be enough. And we're going to upgrade all these machines to the top tier. Resonant machines. So let's get our item ducts as well as our redstone flux ducts. And we're going to want some drawers. Okay, so we can do this redstone furnace, 2 pulverizers, and then Igneous Extruder. So then we can do the next tier, which requires hardened glass. Let's make 20 of those. And that will take a second, but not too bad. So I think this is pretty much all we're going to need. We are going to need 2 buckets once we get our first little set of hardened glass. We can go ahead and do things with that, but this is going to be for making glass, and we're also going to try to get sand so that we can compress it into, compressed sand, and that will be super useful as well. So what was it? I wanted to grab buckets. We're going to need 2 buckets, 1 for water, 1 for lava. 2 and 2. Alright, and then the last tier is silver, I do believe, and Enderium. So that's super duper easy. And these are now all resonant machines. Perfect. Now we're going to need upgrades. So do I have any of these augments on autocrafting? No, of course not. We're going to want the accelerated extrusion. So we're going to want redstone chipset, a gold chipset, and a diamond chipset. How do we make the other 2 chipsets? Alright, so redstone times 2, piece of gold, and a diamond. So all of this stuff is pretty straightforward. Let's make those. Alright, and then that's for the Igneous Extruder. We're going to need 2 of these. So there is the accelerated stuff. We're going to need pyrotheum dust, which we have on autocraft. And then cryothium dust, which is not on autocraft, but should be easy enough to make. Alright, so we just have to wait for the chipsets. So let's go ahead and start setting some of this stuff up. First of all, we're going to want the Igneous Extruder right here. And this guy will be completely blank except for this side. Now it's just going to make redstone, cobblestone rather. And we can expand that to maximum tier. Then we're going to have 2 pulverizers, and then the redstone. So this guy, we will have, again, all upgrades. This guy produces a lot of RF per tick. What is it? It's 64 times 50. We can actually look at one of these guys is running. So it produces 3,000 RF per tick. So that's our maximum. So this is going to get cobblestone. Cobblestone turns into gravel and sand. Now the sand, so gravel or cobblestone will go from the right, and we'll output that, and then the sand will go up above. This will be input, and you know what? We're just gonna store that. We're not even gonna worry about it. So that'll be the sand, and then this will put this, and then output here. Cool. And then all we'll have to do is put some ME conduits on them with import buses, and it'll be fine. Actually, the sand we will run through another machine over here, which we'll do here soon, and then that will turn it into the compressed sand, which will then extract through the ME system. We'll get to that in a little bit, maybe. I might do that later. That's not super important to us right now. So that's all the augments we need for... So we don't actually need any of these filters, I don't believe. So that's all the augments that we need for the actual, like, Igneous Extruder. So this guy is done and should be producing a lot of cobblestone, and then this guy will do all this, but we don't want this to run yet. We don't want this guy to run. So now what we need is Nullification Chamber. So the Nullification Chamber requires a bucket of lava. Okay, we can handle that. And what this will do is destroy the dust that we would get from pulverizing the sand, or pulverizing the gravel. There's a chance to get dust, which we don't want. So that is an augment. And then we're going to want a bunch of the upgrades for speed. So we're going to want chipsets times 3 of each type. Yes. So redstone, gold, and diamonds. And we'll get these guys going again. No big deal. So that will be good enough. And for this stuff, we'll need bronze. Just make 100 bronze. That'll be fine. And this is stuff that we should also probably do for these guys. Just because this tends to fill up pretty quickly. And in fact, I might do that. But I'll do that off camera just because it's not that important right now. And I'm not going to go all the way to the top tier because it uses a lot more power. So we'll see how many of these we actually want to use. But yeah, we're going to need what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. We're going to need pyrotheum dust times 6. And I can only make one of those right now. And then we're going to need cryotheum dust times 6, which is going to need blizz. But luckily we have access to blizzes. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think we have blizzes, don't we? Yes. So we can kill these guys pretty easily. Alright. So we'll kill a couple of blizzes, and we'll collect some blizz rods, and then that'll give us what we need. Actually, just one is enough for right now. I might farm those later, but cool. So with that taken care of, this episode's getting a little bit long, so I'm trying to wrap it up. But in fact, we're not even gonna pulverize the other ones. We're just gonna do this. But anyways, make 2 of those for now. 1, and I'll get the rest of them later. So basically the idea is this is producing a lot of stuff. We're going to take one of these augments out, the redstone, and we're going to put the Nullification Chamber in there. Excuse me. Oh, it destroys excess. So it will, basically this will fill up with dust, but it will eventually stop. So all these guys can get 1. So if it's 400 RF per tick on that guy, so that's 400. This guy goes to 800, so that's 16. That's 2,000. That is fine. We are okay with that. We'll still have excess power. So that is perfect. We could actually have more machines, specifically to get like more stuff out of this stuff. But that is automatic glass. All we have to do is import it into the system, and we don't have to worry about glass anymore. The only other thing that we'll want to do is we'll want to throw in some drawer upgrades, which I believe we have. Yeah, we'll just throw in some storage upgrades and void upgrades for the fun of it. We don't need void upgrades. But then the only other thing is we'll want a compressor, much like these guys, the auto compressors. These only use, they use next to nothing. So I will tell you guys what, I'm going to upgrade these guys just slightly, just so they're a little bit faster, and finish upgrading the glass guys and work on bees. And I will see you guys in the next episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you then. Bye!